Welcome, welcome. Self-care, it's a big buzzword. Everyone's talking about it. And probably there are recommendations that have been made that may or may not be true. So we're going to try to make sure we go through the myths and the truths about taking care of your body and what does work, what science say about it, and what things maybe are just myths that people are sharing out there in social media and the world of self-care. I have three main goals. The third goal may be you on your own at home, and you guys on Zoom, and you'll be able to get this worksheet from our website or get it from us when you come in. But we want you to basically map out your self-care approach for yourself. You're going to make your own self-care plan. And we've got a sheet that will help you to rock through all that, all right? But number one, first thing we're going to do, let's talk about self-care, what it is, the truths, the myths, what is true wellness. We're going to talk about that. We're going to really debunk about 7 different things. Then we're going to share the science. We're going to share you the science-backed, sustainable techniques that you can do on your own every day or every week or every month. We're going to talk about the ones that really work well, that have the best support for you, that you should be working on every day. That's really how we're going to take care of your body. Definitely been a buzzword, science. Since the pandemic, we've had a huge rise in this wellness influencers, DIY tips, TikTok hacks, all kinds of things to try to make you healthier or better. And sometimes it just can be overwhelming and misinformative. So that's why we kind of created this self-care myths. We want to make sure that we break down things and know that you can always rely upon us for the information. There's so much out there, but you are paying to be part of a community that is already vetting a lot of this information. Chiropractic's been holistic from the beginning. Chiropractic care is built on the fact that we want to make your body whole, but there are certain factors that have been true throughout time that we can continue to solidify. And when new things come out, we can look at it through that lens of holism. So trust us. If you have things or questions, always email us or ask us during the workshops. But we're going to make sure that we go through information and every week feed you the information that we believe has the best backing and has the best results. So just know that you can trust us with all that. What is it really? What is self-care? Ultimately, it's maintenance. It's how you maintain your vehicle. How do you take good care of your car? The same way you take care of your body with proper maintenance. It's not just spa days. It's not just indulgences or escapisms. This isn't just all about you. This is really about true self-care that's really going to be proactive about your physical, your mental, and your emotional health. It's true care for yourself and taking time for those things. Again, you may hear, oh, well, self-care is just selfish. It means you're just caring for yourself. You don't care about other people. It's really so you can care for others better. When your body is in a good place, in a good function, you have more ability to spill over and help and support other people who may need to take care of themselves, right? So self-care is not selfish. It is more about how you can be more service to others because your body is being served well, right? Mental clarity, emotional regulation, physical energy, these are all essential to showing up fully for your family, for your community, at work. You need to have emotional regulation. You need to be clear. You need to have physical energy. You can't show up for people if you don't have these. So self-care is not selfish. It's actually all about filling yourself up to serve other people. Secondly, the second myth is that it's time consuming. I don't have time to take care of myself. I'm too busy. I got too much going on. There's just no way I could fit it in. Well, just think about it. There's a really good chance that you take at least 10 minutes to probably do something somewhat mindless like scrolling through Facebook or doing things that could just be you're trying to shut your brain down. Well, instead of shutting it down, maybe you tune up your physical body. Do 10 minutes of stretching instead. Or, you can always reward yourself for doing stretching. You want to sit down and bum out on the couch. But there's plenty of time in the day that we could use more efficiently or more wisely that we end up just consuming, for lack of a better term, at that time and then feeling we don't have any time. So just rethink your schedule. Think about what are other times I could be doing something beneficial versus maybe mindless. Third myth is that it's something you're just always alone. You're always quietly meditating. You're quietly alone and just peaceful. And that is important. It definitely is, but it's not synonymous with just being by yourself. You can, being in a sense of community is a huge impact on health. You listening tonight to this is self-care, but you're doing it together. You're part of a community. And when you do things together, it has a huge impact on vitality. Now, one of the biggest risk factors for death during the pandemic, for sure, but always has been isolation. So being part of the community is an important thing. Sometimes, self-care is just a walk with a friend, allowing others to care for you. It's not always about just being by yourself. It's a lot of times, I think of self-care as like, I just need to relax and lay down and zone out. It's not always just about that, although that is part of it. It's only one piece of the puzzle. It's not that self-care just always means you're in the spa getting a massage or you're just relaxing. True self-care, it's a little less glamorous, really. It's going to bed on time. It's saying no to the things that drain you, It's not always just zoning out or turning everything off. It's being a little bit more specific about the things that you choose to do and the habits that you are engaging in, which can multiply. These habits of getting to bed early and getting to bed on time starts to really heal the body in many other ways. Restoration is the essential part here. We need to be restored. It has to be earned or rewarded. I think, gosh, surrounded by a lot of people in my life that feel like they can't let go. I'm one of those people. Like I can't celebrate. I can't have fun. I can't just relax. I can't do fun things if I haven't really worked really, really hard and been whooped. So like if I leave on a Thursday and it wasn't a super busy at the very end of the day, I feel like I didn't have a good week. Well, that's not true, but that's how we can be, where it's like, well, I can't indulge myself if I didn't really reward myself. But again, self-care isn't about indulgence. It's about doing the right things for ourselves. Okay. So as part of this hustle culture, we think we have to be rewarded. We don't. We can just do it because that's how we will be rewarded, by taking care of ourselves and our body's working and supporting us for the long term. Self-care isn't necessarily a cure-all either. You could be doing a lot of positive things for yourself. You could be eating right. You could be doing meditations, but there is very important that there are people outside of your own mind and your own abilities that usually are going to be needed to help cure or get past certain problems. So it's not something where you just do all these things. You'll never need a doctor. You'll never need your chiropractor. There are professionals in place to help direct you and keep you on track and knowing why you're doing those supportive self-care things. So let's talk more about those proven self-care methods, the things that work, the things that we've seen. They haven't just been fads. All right, let's talk more about those specific things, which I bet you could guess some. One of the first is, like I said, move well. Movement. God did not give you all these joints to not move, This is why chiropractic works. This is why chiropractic is a foundational self-care process, because when we adjust the joints of your spine, not only is your spine moving better and feeling better, the nerves that exit your spine have less stress. And those are what control and coordinate so many processes of your body. So chiropractic can be part of that movement self-care process. Research shows that regular movement enhances neuroplasticity. It's a fancy word. It basically means your brain's ability to adapt and heal. If you want to change your brain, move with your brain. Okay? Move your body every day, at least 10 minutes. It's going to help with mood, reduce inflammation, improves brain function. Movement is just so huge. We talked about this, but sometimes self-care doesn't have to be glamorous. It could just be prioritizing sleep and recovery. Poor sleep is linked to so many chronic illnesses. And it's because there's other factors too that start to disrupt our sleep. But if we compound our health dysfunction and chronic illness by not getting our 7 to 9 hours of sleep, our body's immune system is starting to plummet, which means that the regulation of even cancer cells, being, our immune function, our emotional regulation is all affected when our body isn't able to detox and reset. So if your body's having poor sleep, starting to focus on that sleep is very important. So why does chiropractic fit into all this? Well, your adjustments often help improve your sleep by calming the sympathetic nervous system and increasing melatonin. They did a study that showed increased melatonin. And I can tell you clinically, some of the people that tell me the first symptom they have after they get adjusted that's a positive improvement, they slept better that night. So sleep is very beneficial, and chiropractic will help with this. If you can, just getting rid of inflammation in your body will have a huge effect on the longevity and the care you provide yourself. So what you're putting in your body can be self-care. How are you caring for yourself? So everyone's going to care for themselves for their whole life. How you decide to do that is up to you. Food is our medicine. Anti-inflammatory diet has been shown to lower CRP, which is just C-reactive protein, which basically is an indicator of inflammation in the whole body. Increases heart disease risk, diabetes, lots of different issues. So an anti-inflammatory diet is going to be rich in vegetables. It's going to have healthy fats, clean proteins. This all are going to reduce pain and brain fog. Chiropractic, I've seen this so often that when you have less inflammation, your adjustments are going to last longer. Your body heals more efficiently. When people go on a more intense anti-inflammatory diet that's aggressively doing it very quickly, they adjust 10 times better on the table, 10 times better. What's maybe even easier than thinking about the foods you're putting in your body is, what are you putting in there to drink? Water. Hydration. There's a book that says the body's many cries for water. Dehydration itself is linked to so many other symptoms that we have that we see as other problems. Headaches, muscle pains, fatigue, brain fog, all kinds of things. like the dehydration. So drinking your water, very, very important. Proper hydration, very important for those discs, right? The spinal joints and the discs, we need lubrication. So without water, your body's adjustments aren't getting their full effect. It's your friend. Mindfulness. We've found that some of the simplest ways to try to change the tune of our thoughts is to do gratitude exercises. Just to start to write down what you're thankful for. So mindfulness is also a practice in which people are just more aware of their situation, try to just focus on their breath, breathing. And this is that kind of being quiet and still. It doesn't have to be, just could be being aware of your surroundings, being fully in, not letting your mind race around. MRI scans show that mindfulness increases gray matter in the brain. That's related to memory and empathy. So being mindful increases your brain. It changes your brain, that neuroplasticity. A calm mind is a calm body. Emotional stress definitely manifests physically. I feel it all the time when I'm adjusting people. When their bodies won't release, when it's holding a lot of tension, knowingly or unknowingly, the body is typically in some state of sympathetic stress. And so we need to start to attack that in other ways. That's part of this mindfulness. And we've done workshops specifically about it. Getting adjusted, that's a great habit. The studies have shown chiropractic reduces pain, but also improves sleep, enhances the immune system, and reduces that cortisol, that stress hormone. Patients' moods are better, and their bodies move better. And those are two big things when it comes to trying to be healthy. You want to move properly. So chiropractic adjustments are going to do that. Regular chiropractic care has been reported of better overall well-being and lower stress levels. They did a study with Medicare patients, and they took a group of patients who were seeing chiropractors at least once a month, at least. And they had done that for years. And a group of patients who did not see chiropractors. The patients who saw chiropractors regularly costs Medicare 60% less money, meaning that less visits to specialists, less surgeries, less medications, all those things. Chiropractic care has the ability to enhance your body's function. And it's a start, but this is also part of that process, right? And you might say, well, maybe they're just engaged in better health activities. That's why they're going to the chiropractor. Well, that's probably true, but that's why you come to these. That's why we promote those things. So it's a whole process. It's not just one thing. So you guys, when you come in, if you're online, make sure that you grab this sheet, all right? So you can do this, though, on your own. Just write on a piece of paper if you want. You're going to choose your top 3. So self-care doesn't have to be complicated. Small, consistent actions create a big change. Review the self-care techniques we discussed. Pick 3 of them. Just pick 3. Maybe just pick 1. Maybe, there's a term that I love to remind everyone on, that action dissolves fear. Sometimes we get caught up in, do I have enough time? Is it going to work? Am I going to, do I have time? Am I going to do it right? Am I going to do it enough? Is it even worth trying? You start thinking and ruminating about all the reasons it might fail, that it's already failed. The fear has consumed you. But by taking action, the body realizes that, this wasn't so bad. I mean, how many people get stuck in front of a room of people and they realize it's not as scary as they thought? Or they might say, I've never done this before. And they just do it and realize, I didn't die. That I actually, I lived through the day. So action dissolves fear. Pick 3 things or at least one thing that resonate you and write down one small step that you can take to make those changes. Each week is going to be the key. And this is where you guys will need this sheet, but ultimately you're going to choose some of these steps: moving your body, prioritizing your sleep, eating that anti-inflammatory diet, staying hydrated, practicing gratitudes, consistent chiropractic care. You may only have one, and that's okay with me. You're going to choose that one. And then this week, you're going to do what? If you look down on this chart, maybe it's a 10-minute walk after dinner. Maybe it's a park at the far end of the parking lot. Stretch for 5 minutes when you wake up. Do 5 squats. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Set a timer and stand up and move every 30 minutes. Doing something new as a stretch. For sleep, maybe it's turning off your screens. There's just so many things here that everything we talk about in workshops is condensed down into a little spreadsheet. So you guys are going to get everything in like one setting. This chart will give you lots and lots of things. Maybe you've got your own things that you want to start to do. But week to week, different challenges and make them harder. Each week, they're a little bit more challenging. So I encourage all you guys to get in here. This will be online too. All right, guys. Make sure you pick this up though, and keep it on the fridge, put it somewhere where it's accountable and say, hey, did I do this for 3 weeks? And then keep going. Keep adding, stacking habits, do them together. If you need to take care of yourself to take care of others, then the first step for you right now is to say, hey, am I really going to fill this sheet out? Am I going to take it? And am I going to really function and do it? If you come here just to listen, that's good. But again, none of this is going to make a difference unless you start the actions. So I encourage you to take heart of one little thing you heard and start making that a habit. Okay, make that happen. You taking care of yourself has big implications. It shows those people around you that there is hope. There may be people that you know in your life as well that just they need to start taking care of themselves and they're not. Or they don't know where to start. They don't know where to go. They don't know who to trust. And there's a lot of people that we all know like that could probably use a nudge in the right direction. If it's some way that we can help those people, remember that we always have consultations at no cost. One of the first things they can do is just start to trust their body again. That's where the adjustments come in. And of course, they can start to learn. They can get on these workshops for no cost. But if there's a way to help people, we just want you to know that we're here to help find ways to get the word and the truth out. Take care of yourself. Share that message with others and take action. Dissolve that fear and heal. You guys have a good night. We'll see you next week. Bye.